네, 마지막 발표를 듣도록 하겠습니다. 바이안 유니버시티에서 오신 알론 레코비츠 교수님께 발표를 부탁드리겠습니다.
Hi, I'm the last speaker, so I'll make it quick so you can have coffee. I'd like to thank the organizer for inviting me. Sorry for nagging many emails, sending emails to Lonnie and asking so many questions. Okay, I'll talk about the SixParty Talks and the P5+1. It's not a dancing class because I don't want to embarrass myself. So let's begin. A multilateral mechanism has its pros and cons. If you look, for example, at the UN Security Council, it works sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't work because, let's say, China, Russia blocks the United States initiatives. The SixParty Talks were established in 2003 as a mechanism to solve the nuclear crisis, and the North Korean nuclear crisis, and to prevent an escalation in the Korean Peninsula. It failed to prevent the October 9th, 2006 nuclear test. It failed to the second one and the third one, but the SixParty Talks was not working from 2007. It was not able to CVID, which is complete, verified, irreversible destruction of the North Korean program, and I'll mention it when I talk about Iran as well. Now, the P5+1 began as European, France, Germany, Britain, and Iran, and later on China, Russia, and the United States joined the club. They were supposed to reach an agreement that will depends on your political perspective or your ideology, to postpone North Korean nuclear program or to halt it or to prevent it, or as some, and I'm not representing the Israeli government, but Israel hoped that the P5+1 would achieve the CVID, which they failed to do in North Korea. Will the agreement postpone the Iranian nuclear program? According to Obama, we'll have to wait for another 10 years. We can estimate that we won't have to wait that long. Now I'll talk briefly on some of the pitfalls of this multilateral mechanism. One is the participant in balancing goals. In order for the mechanism to work, for dancing the waltz, you need to have all members synchronize and agree on the same goals and the means to achieve these goals. One of the biggest problems in the at the SixParty Talks and P5+1, that North Korea and Iran were able to manipulate the participants in order to minimize the cost of the sanctions and to maximize the profit that they have from continuing their nuclear program. Now, in the case of Iran, it was paying a very high price, but it still continued to do so. Sanctions. Sanctions is a tactical tool in negotiation. The biggest question is, are they effective? Sometimes you have sanctions, but they're not effective. And the biggest question is, do you know the price tag? What's the cost that Iran and North Korea are willing to pay to stop developing their nuclear arms? And are we willing to impose these sanctions? In many cases, there were sanctions, but countries selectively implemented these sanctions and allowed North Korea and Iran to pay less. Now, the problem is both Iran and North Korea were willing to pay a very high price in order to continue their program, and they were able, mainly Iran, to find ways to bypass these sanctions. Now, another element is using military force. There's a problem of using military force. You can bombard Yongbyon, and you might start a war with Korea. You might bombard Iranian nuclear sites, and the Iranian might start firing missiles towards the Gulf or towards other US and Israeli assets. Is the threat credible? Sometimes you threat, but it's not credible enough, so it doesn't convince the other side to follow you or to agree with you. Along the years, the United States hinted that it might consider to attack North Korean nuclear sites and the Iranian sites. As Obama said, all the options are on the table. The question was he willing to use military force? Now, in the case of Iran, Israel was functioning as a subcontractor threatening to attack Iran, and it allowed the United States to pressure Iran to agree to some of the issues. Now, as was mentioned in the last two lectures, what Pyongyang and Tehran are doing is improving their credible deterrence, and as was hinted, was they're building their submarine capabilities and their missile capabilities in order to create a deterrence that will prevent an attack by Washington or its allies. Now, the disadvantage of being a democracy. There's a nice book, Dictator's Handbook by Buenaventura Mosquita, which recommend if you want to become a dictator, what you should do, to be a very successful dictator. Being a dictator, unless someone kills you, in the case of the Kim family, once in a while kills the member of the family, has an advantage during negotiation. While Washington, Seoul, and Tokyo are dependent on the election, we're talking about what will happen, who will be the next president of the United States, who will replace Abe, who will be the next South Korean president, while in the case of North Korea and Beijing, this is not a problem, and they can use this knowledge or this fact in order to continue negotiation, knowing that, for example, Obama or Clinton didn't have enough time and they were dependent to finish the negotiation before election. Now, the Iranian knew this as well. They knew that Obama political clock is ticking, and he had to get the deal before Congress bypassed him. Now, creating buffers between members. In the SixParty Talks and the P5+1, what Iran and North Korea did is create buffers between the members of the SixParty Talks. For example, they created buffers between China, Russia, and the United States. For example, they launched a civilian satellite while the United States called it a military missile. The Iranian did the same, trying to create buffers between the EU members and the United States, in some cases even between France and Germany. Another trick that the Iranian did is using a honey trap, which means hinting to the members, P5+1, that there are potential billions of dollars of project that if you agree with us, if you sign or approve the agreement, you will be able to sign contracts in Iran. Now, pacifier mechanism. The SixParty Talks function as a regional pacifier. It allows the members to talk about the conflict and to try to solve the issue, even though they didn't solve the issue. And it functions even as an unofficial mechanism to discuss. For example, North Korea promised to launch the missile on Saturday, but they didn't. And the SixParty Talk was revived when all the members discussed this missile launch. So the mechanism exists, even if it's unofficially works. And the P5+1, if it will continue, it would allow, for example, the United States, Russia, to coordinate and to solve problems in the Middle East. I doubt what IR people would say, institutionalization, the P5+1 will become a functioning mechanism. Now, the optimist and pessimist meet. Some would say that there's a wishful thinking that each mechanism that tries to solve a nuclear issue might work. What realists called us naives. I would say that even if some of these mechanisms are not working, in the long run they might become institutionalized and they might be more influential. I'm a little bit naive, but I hope to look on the bright side of life, as Monty Python said. Now, even though there are a lot of problems with the P5+1 and the SixParty Talks, they still function. They are the best mechanism that exist. But there is always but. The but is the other but. The backdoor plan. This is one of the things that people are concerned, or started to be concerned, is that according to the agreement that was signed between the P5+1, Iran can continue to cooperate with North Korea, and North Korea can develop its nuclear bomb. And by doing so, Iran can say that it did not breach the agreement that was signed and was approved. And it can become a threshold state without saying so. And whenever it wants, it can decide that I'm a nuclear state, and the North Korean did the job for us. Thank you very much.